What does a bank's website communicate and how? We're going to be looking at Lloyds Bank's website today. I want to walk through the user experience that the user interface is communicating, is creating for the would-be customer. To do so, I'm going to scroll through the whole page. I'm going to interpret that design into vibes and then analyze how the user interface is communicating those vibes, break down some specific elements of the user interface and justify why those choices matter, and ultimately explain the user experience and why it's important for this product and this company on this website. To scroll through it initially, the first thing that you see when you log into the web page is this image of a dog. Your eyes then veer to the left to the hero text, your first home is closer than you think, and to the call to action, which is the main button on the website. Then your eyes may naturally veer up and work your way down the screen as if you were reading. As we scroll down, you would see this app interface, you would see a product lineup with some photos, another call to action to remortgage with another image, a customer support section, a credit score section, and then a final reminder to join the mobile app to use their product before a section about survey results, which I think they are by regulation required to have. So what are the vibes that this page creates? Well, it's something like familiarity, approachability, it's fresh, it's youthful, it's optimistic, it's helpful, and it's somewhat quaint, it's nostalgic, it's comfortable. How is this achieved? The first image that you see, the first thing that you see when you enter the page, primes the rest of your experience. And in this case, it's quite literally a picture of home comforts. It's a happy pet, a comfortable living room, there's a sofa, there's a houseplant in the background, there's a cardboard box where the dog is sitting in, which is already funny. It's some levity in a topic of finance, which is a surprise but an appreciated one. And cardboard boxes and home comforts are all associated with gifts, with new things, with moving to new and better homes. It's important to understand how an image can prime the rest of a user's experience. The color palette that the user sees immediately is this green tone. It continues throughout this green. There's three main greens. This is a medium sea green, a slightly dark forest green, and then a light green. And what is green? What is the association of green? How does color psychology work? Well, green is nature, it's growth, it's tranquility, it's life. It's a sense of calm. A sense of something, well, nostalgic, homely. For the first thing you'll read on the page mentions home. This is actually what the website is selling, what the user interface is trying to communicate. The user here is not buying mortgages or houses even. They're buying homes. That's what the user experience is for, to make you feel like you're buying a home. Further than that, I will elaborate on that at the end. Where is it's important to note that under this tranquility, this homely, this familiar veneer, Lloyds still has this logo. Now, Lloyds' logo is a side profile of a rearing horse. It's almost Greek-like in that it has these indents on the back of its neck. We associate a horse with nobility, with legitimacy, and the two-dimensional pose is also right out of ancient Greek vase art, as well as neoclassicist paintings. It associates the bank with elegance, high status, permanence. And Lloyds in itself is a well-known brand. It exists, it's institutional, the name Lloyds is old-fashioned. It brings up thoughts of powerful, established London that has power even within the United Kingdom. It is worth mentioning that this logo does actually clash with the rest of the user interface design. While we have familiarity and youthful optimism and fashionable approachability and helpfulness and quaint nostalgia, the logo is classic, noble, it's elegant, high status. But at the same time, that is a foundation for the rest of the experience. When you're dealing with financial decisions, as the customer is being invited to do so, it helps to have this foundation of serious, well-established institutionalism. Permanence. Something that has stood the test of time, and therefore can be trusted. Furthermore, even simple decisions to have very clear, legible font color combinations helps transmit serious, no-nonsense design. So you have white over dark greens and greys, you have black over white, you have black over green. This is serious. This is readable text, clear information. There's no clutter and no surprises, as we'll see. Tabs at the top of the page are a very good form, a very good tool, shorthand in user interface design. People understand how tabs work. You understand that everything below the tab will be related to it. Also, the inclusion of these four portrayed on an equal foot with equal weight implies that the business is well-rounded. It's got a broad customer base. Again, it's well-established. It's a well-run enterprise. That's what's communicated. And when you're dealing with financial decisions, it helps to portray that the institution is trustworthy, especially with savings, mortgage plans, etc. As we scroll down, join the 10 million customers who use our highly rated app. Now, we use popularity as a shorthand for trustworthiness. So, to have this there is, our product has been tried and tested. We don't want to be alone when making consumer decisions. So it's good to portray that other people are already partaking in the services being provided. It's worth mentioning that even though this final section down here, the survey results, were probably forced to be included in the user interface, the simple presence of the bank on a ranking already gives it some legitimacy. I mean, it helps that it's not near the bottom, it's number 6, but even not being in the top 5, which are here portrayed, a serious bank would be included in these regulation set surveys. So, this is a serious player. Like star ratings, we want to see rankings. We're not making decisions in a vacuum. As we get down to the product line, following call to action, the approachability, the freshness, even the youthful optimism that the UI is portraying is on full show. The website is targeting first-time home buyers, which will likely be young people, and having associated the brand with popularity, pointing out ratings and the amount of users, here it puts a face to these users. They're well-dressed, attractive, well-lit in the photos, accompanied by bikes or nice cars, fashionable clothing. These are subjects that the would-be customer can associate themselves with, even if aspirationally. This is appealing to the kind of customer that would identify themselves, even if aspirationally, with these subjects. I think this photo is a fantastic example of how a photo can anchor an experience. You have a big smile, comfortable clothing, fashionable wear, hip tote bag. The subject is in a doorway, which already brings thoughts of home. It also brings thoughts of new adventures as she's exiting the home or the house. She's looking up and to the right. We think of rightward motion as progression. That's why we use things like these arrows to indicate that things can be interacted with. And looking upwards is betterment. It's an advance. It's progress. And the low angle of the shot makes us look up as well. And then it's lit with natural light. It's bright colors. There's an optimistic portrayal next to trust us with your next mortgage deal. The implicit relationship is that this subject has, and look how good they're doing. The customer support section is very large, which is important. This does portray the impression of the company as eager to help. Look, it's bright, it's green. There's a little icon here that brings some levity, like the dog in the box and like the zucchini down here. It's slightly funny. It's a splash of color. There's an almost eager call to ask you for help or ask you for any questions, looking for help and guidance. There's assistance with planning. There's extra support for disabilities. There's information if you're worried. And of course, this may be very useful information, but it's doing something very important, which is give the image of, look, this is a tough decision. We're here to help. So even information, the way it's portrayed, even just cold text information, because I'm guessing in here are articles, this is already giving a certain user experience, designing a certain experience for the would-be customer. And finally, there's a sort of quaintness that comes across at the very end with the zucchini. There's a first prize, which is a good association. Look, we're again, number one. We like rankings. But it's associating the brand slightly how in similar way to how the logo associates it with old, elegant, high-status England. Here it's associating with a nostalgic England, the nostalgic past. Look, it's green old England with its grannies and its country farms and its produce fairs. It matches the color identity of the site. So this is all very good. But it brings some levity, which counterbalances the seriousness of finance very well. There's some details that this site is very good at exemplifying that are just worth highlighting quickly. We already mentioned tabs, the menu bars, especially at the top immediately as the user does its visual journey, starting here, going here, and then goes up here, sees that this is where they can click back to if they ever have any questions, any doubts. These are where the options are. The lock is a very common icon for banks to use when showing an access point. It identifies security, privacy. You're the only one who can access it. The arrows we already mentioned as well. That's forward progression. These are secondary buttons. The primary button is the call to action button over here. So it's good to use other ways of showing that something can be interacted with on a second glance. On the first glance, the user is going to get this. On a second glance, they'll get this. Also, the rounded edges of buttons is a very good shorthand for showing that something can be interacted with. If it's got right angles as corners, then we usually don't associate that with something we can press. So play with the shorthands that other people already established. We don't want any surprises in how users should get to interact with the interface. And using the actual app interface as part of your design is a very good way to walk your would-be user through the consumer journey. It assumes that they're already going to. The support does something similar. To ask them for support even when they wouldn't have made a decision to use your product is a very good way to assume that they're going to take the product. The hero text does something similar by already assuming that you're thinking about your first home, that it's optimistic, it's closer than you think, but the you think here assumes that you're already doing about this. And even if you weren't, by the time you read the hero text, you are thinking about your first home. So using the app interface is a very good way to walk them through what it would look like. It adds transparency. There's no surprises. They'll know, oh, okay, that's how I'm going to be interacting with this service. And it gives you a chance to highlight the specific items, the specific products that your main target consumer might want. So if you're looking for first-time buyers to sell them mortgages, then look, this platinum credit card and a borrow function. So it's all flowing in the same direction. It's very important. So all in all, what is the experience you get? What's the user experience, ultimately, of interacting with this website? The website is made to sell mortgages, primarily. It creates a sense of familiarity, of comfort, of approachability, of trustworthiness. It's fresh, it's youthful, it's optimistic. There's a lot of optimism in this site. It's very good because you want to lead them into this a fantasy, this attractive idea that you're selling them a home. It's not selling you mortgages, it's selling you a home. So you associate it with home comforts, with a bit of levity, with youthful vigor and optimism, some nostalgia, which is very homely, it's very familiar. It helps that Lloyds is a well-known institution. It helps that it can invoke this classic, this permanent. Lloyds has been around a while. They must be doing something right. And you channel it into this vigor, into this optimism. And hey, they must be doing something right. It connects something established with something new, something fresh, something alive. Green. It's growing. It's something comfortable, something dreamlike about it. It's selling you a home. In one sentence, the user experience is one of a trustworthy, optimistic service provider that invites you to let it help you build a home. I hope that was useful. Thank you for listening.